I can get up, get 5 things done, work on my website, answer messages, take calls, make dinner, but let one thing go wrong, and I will sit there at the end of the day and think the whole day was wasted. But was it? Because apparently the first 6 hours of the day don't even matter now that I'm mad about whatever I'm mad about. And I know I'm not the only person that does that. Sometimes we don't give ourselves credit for the things that we done right because of one thing that went wrong. I've noticed this especially when I'm working on a task that should be simple. You know, the ones that should take 15 minutes max, right? You sit down thinking, oh, I'll knock this out real quick. 3 hours in, you've watched 2 YouTube tutorials, clicked 17 random buttons, and still don't know what you're doing. Those are the days that get me down. Because by the time I walk away from it, I don't even feel like I done anything productive. I feel defeated almost. But here's the interesting thing. Once I stop and look back at what I actually accomplished, I did quite a few things that were good. The frustration is just loud. And I think it's important to recognize that. It's so weird how frustration has a way of taking up more space in our brain than progress sometimes. Just think about how often we do that. You clean the whole kitchen, but there's still laundry. So instead of seeing the clean kitchen, you can only see the laundry that isn't done. You make those 5 calls that you've been needing to make, which is progress, but one of the people don't call you back, and then you feel frustrated again. And now that's the thing that you're thinking about. Not the accomplishments, not the 5 calls that you made, the one thing that didn't quite go as planned. You spend several hours maybe working on your content, but the post that you put up goes flat. It gets very frustrating. And then suddenly your work doesn't feel like it counted. You get almost everything done on your list except that one thing. And what do you do when you go to bed? You think about that one thing. We are so good at erasing everything we did with the one thing we didn't. I think we tend to think a productive day should look a certain way. We think it should feel good. Like if we really had a good day, then we should be feeling satisfied and proud, right? And sometimes we do. If you're anything like me, you can accomplish a hell of a lot when you're aggravated. I think I've mastered being overwhelmed and productive at the same time. I believe that's a trauma response, by the way. But I say that to say you can make progress and still feel frustrated at the same time. You can most certainly have a good day that had an hour or two that was just awful, as well as you can have a very hard day but still accomplish some very important goals. None of those things cancel out the other. This is something I'm trying to give myself grace with and not beat myself up so much about, because I can be very hard on myself when I don't accomplish the things that I set out to accomplish. I can wake up with a whole schedule set. This is what I'm going to do. then I'm going to do this, and it's going to work out this way. Once I get that finished, then I'll come over here and I'll work on that. And some days, reality has taken my whole plan and just kicked it right out the way, right out the room, right out the window. Somebody needs something. Technology does what it does or doesn't do. A small task could take longer than expected. I get interrupted. Then I lose my train of thought. Or sometimes I'm just simply not operating at 100% that day. And in those moments, instead of adjusting my expectations, I start thinking, why can't I just get it together? But maybe I did get it together. Maybe it just didn't look the way I pictured it. Because there's a big, big difference between not doing anything and not doing everything. And I think a lot of us need to hear that. Because if you planned to do 10 things and you did 5 of those things, you still did 5 things. You didn't just not do anything. If you worked on something for 3 hours, those 3 hours counted towards something, the goal, I'm assuming, whatever it may be. Not every day has to end with every single box checked. And frankly, I don't know who came up with that idea anyway. I also think we need to stop letting the worst thing about our day be what we grade the entire day on. That's probably the biggest thing I've been learning. If I were to ask myself how my day is going immediately after I am irritated or frustrated about something, well, obviously my first thought is going to say, oh, it was terrible. But if I give myself a minute to actually take a breath, step back, and look at what I accomplished that day, then I start realizing, well, I got that done. I accomplished that. I handled that problem. I made progress over here. So maybe today wasn't terrible. Maybe one part of today was pretty terrible. There's a big difference there. And that little distinction matters because those little things that we tell ourselves about our days are eventually what we tell ourselves about our entire lives. Because what you tell your brain, it believes. And if you look at every imperfect day as a complete failure, then you're going to start to feel like a failure, even when you're actually moving forward. And sometimes progress does not feel like progress when you're in the middle of it. It's like we imagine progress as this nice straight line. You start here, you go to school, you start your career, you work hard, things improve, and then you arrive here. Life does not give a damn about that line. Promise you. Progress tends to look more like starting, moving a little forward, knock back a step, progressing, going forward, pausing, messing up, oh, backtracking, then still moving forward slowly, possibly, and eventually getting to your desired destination. Messy progress still counts. Slow progress counts. Frustrated progress counts. Irritated progress still counts. And the progress that you did not enjoy while you were in the midst of it, that still counts too. So now, when I'm having one of those days, I try to ask myself this question: what did I accomplish today? Instead of, did everything go the way I wanted it to go today? Because those two questions are going to give you two very different answers. I promise you. Maybe I didn't get everything done. Maybe tomorrow I still have a mountain of things waiting for me. Maybe something irritated the hell out of me. That probably happened. If you know me, you know. What did I learn today? Did I at least start something? And sometimes when I look at it that way, I realize the day was not wasted at all. So if you've had one of those days today where everything just seems to be going wrong, somebody got on your nerves, you might have come this close to throwing your computer out the window, or your to-do list is still sitting there staring at you, I want you to step back and look at the whole day before you decide it was a bad one. Don't let a frustrating hour or two or few erase everything else that you've accomplished. And don't use everything you didn't get done as evidence that what you did get done doesn't matter. Because a productive day doesn't always feel like a productive day. Sometimes it feels very messy. Sometimes it feels very frustrating. But you can make progress and be frustrated at the very same time. A productive day and a frustrating day can happen on the same day. If today's conversation helped you and you would like to go a little deeper, I've written an article over on my website at that'ssoauntsusie.com, and it's called A Productive Day and a Frustrating Day Can Happen on the Same Day. And if conversations like this encourage you or help you feel less alone, I would love to have you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next call. Tell me, are you somebody that can get 9 things done but beat yourself up if you didn't get the 10th thing accomplished? I have a feeling I'm not sitting at this table alone. Call me in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Around here, I simply share what I've lived, learned, and what I hope helps somebody else on their journey. And hey, if you're struggling today, pull up a chair. We'll figure it out together.